A few months ago, a year ago, I made a video on how Undertale is for the neurodivergent, and it was a lot of fun and had good feedback. We dove into the gameplay appealing to neurodivergent audiences, the characters portraying neurodivergent traits, and the fan base being a place ran on neurodivergent influence. And now I think it's time we switched gears and began to show how the same is true for Undertale's predecessor, Deltarune. Now, to begin, when I say Deltarune is made for the neurodivergents, that's more of like a title, I guess. There's no way to prove Toby sat down and made Deltarune specifically for neurodivergent people, and I highly doubt that he even did that at all. And now, this is in no manner meant to exclude neurotypicals and say that, like, the game's not for you or whatever. Not that I really need to preface that, considering I feel like I can safely say most of my audience members are neurodivergent themselves, because you're all also Undertale fans, so it's like a loop. I'll start this video like my last. What are neurodivergent people? Are they the ones so overstimulated by their hyperfixation, special interests, matcha, Dubai, chocolate, they need to stim and okay, buzzwords, bro. They've taken over neurotypical's vocabulary. It's very insulting, but that's a whole other conversation. So neurodivergent people are anyone with a neurological difference. You may know the big ones, such as autism, ADHD, dyslexia, Tourette's, OCD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, alongside anything in the DSM that falls under neurodevelopmental disorders, which encompasses learning, motor, communication, and intellectual disabilities or disorders. There are a lot of different conditions that fall under the category of being neurodivergent, and yet neurotypicals still want to pretend and fake their way into neurodivergent spaces and abuse neurodivergent specific terms and destroy their meaning, while simultaneously poking fun at neurodivergent people and accessibility resources, even though that accessibility is supposed to be for everyone. So basically, what we need to know for this video is neurodivergent people, despite all qualifying, for lack of a better word, in various different ways, have similarities that overlap. Let me list a few relevant to this topic. Hyperfocus, achieving high, intense concentration at one point in time, just about something, anything, a task, a piece of media, just hyperfocus. Creative thinking, this will come back later. Hypersensitivity, or inversely, hyposensitivity. Intense emotions. And an out of place feeling socially, or a feeling of needing to mask yourself. I was going to reiterate my points from a year ago, but I couldn't find my script and was not feeling like listening to myself talk, so we're just going to start from scratch. The game mechanics of Undertale and Deltarune center around puzzles, bullet hell combat with turns, and storytelling dialogue. Perfect for any, but specifically neurodivergent audiences. From solving the various puzzles to mastering the attack patterns through memory, a super strength for some neurodivergents, or logic and planning, another super strength for some, neurodivergents and anyone really would have a field day with Undertale. And Undertale has commonly been praised for its ability to make turn-based combat so fun. I had a conversation once with my boyfriend about how I really don't like turn-based combat games, typically. I like combat like in Zelda or Skyrim. Undertale is just an exception because it isn't boring. It doesn't even require as much mental toll if you don't want it to. Omori, for example, completely lost me with all the emotion effects. Sorry, maybe I'm like really shallow and like dumb. And while I love a good Pokemon game, I never really sit down and play them for longer than killing a few hours on my DS. Undertale is different, through its inclusion of bullet hell in each turn. Furthermore, there's even special soul modes that completely flip gameplay for each boss to make it even more special. Now, Deltarune follows in the same footsteps, but even elevates the genre further. One of the first things audiences said about Deltarune was to point out how much better the combat system was. Yes, bullet hell, yes, soul modes, but now parties, magic, pacifying over sparing, methods to end battles in way less turns if you think hard enough for it. Deltarune is how I would imagine Undertale would be as a reboot, and that's precisely what it is. It's just so perfect. So now, for neurodivergent audiences, we get our talents to work even harder and shine even more with the new added complexities of Deltarune's combat system. We get more attacks to memorize, new soul modes, bullet hell, more puzzles and tricks and non-combat gameplay, a whole list of secret bosses that the super talented and eager can play, and I mean, don't even get me started on the egg rooms. Okay, I'm getting started on the egg rooms. Like, not to stretch, but the egg rooms are so, like, I don't know, well appreciated by neurodivergent fans. They're a puzzle to solve and a huge tribute to video game Easter eggs as a whole. Video game Easter eggs have existed for ages in several different game genres and different forms, and have sparked a fandom of their own. Typically, people enjoy them because they can be creepy or unsettling, but they're also enjoyed because they're fun and exciting to find. A lot of the fan bases that search Toby's code find big Easter eggs in his games and have been finding them in his previous works, and even scour his music for connections and clues, are neurodivergent. Not everyone, but most. I don't even need to do a survey to prove this. So many times I hear from people in the fan base and fellow theorists that will just mention for a joke or a comment that they have ADHD, they're autistic, they have OCD, etc., etc. And if those are just the neurodivergent titles people are more open to share, think of everyone in the fanbase less open about their learning or communication disabilities that still have amazing and different brains like the rest of the fandom. Together we are Undertale. I mean, Kazoo Cat. Okay, I'm not trying to, diagnose. I'm not like, everyone look at Kazoo Cat. This is autism. Point made. No, I mean, their channel is a good example of fandom creativity, especially in music. Something I never really honed in on myself, but it proves to be full of people who see the world so differently even from me as a fellow neurodivergent. I played viola for 7 years, no joke, and even I don't know anything about leitmotifs or making music. There's countless examples of creativity of this fanbase, which, as we mentioned, is a trait or strength of a lot of neurodivergent people. Which leads me to my next point, the fandom being insanely creative. Yes. The AUs. Truly my favorite part of the Undertale fandom. It gives me a lot of positive nostalgia because I joined post-Tumblr art comics era and, I saw the remnants of all of that and how insane it was, but that wasn't a part of it, thankfully. In Deltarune, whether it's music or fan art or fan games, fans are still creating with just as much passion as before. I think we shifted from, I want to create things based on my favorite piece of media, to I want to theorize about my favorite piece of media, because Deltarune obviously is not complete. Overlaps with my previous section, but I'm just going to say it in this part of the video as well. Neurodivergent people are hyperfixed on things and creative as hell. And that's the Undertale and Deltarune fanbase in a nutshell. As someone who creates Deltarune fan art for both fun and an outlet, I have met countless people who are just like me online. I can say firsthand that everyone is so creative and talented. From drawings to clay to making plushies, making cosplays, making theories, music, coding your own games, or just creating servers and communities to connect in, the Deltarune fandom is out here creative maxing, bro. Isn't that insane? Think about it. For both Undertale and Deltarune, Toby created something so impactful for fans, it inspired them to go and create in ways they maybe never... what am I saying? They maybe never even, experienced prior or even thought about getting into. Undertale good. Toby cool. Finally, my last and probably most, fun portion of the video, talking about possible neurodivergent in Deltarune that further makes the game appealing to neurodivergent audiences. Now, we gotta start with our main character. I've talked about Chris a lot and have given them everything under the sun, and a whole video where I basically DSM diagnosed them based on one scene in chapter 4, I think. Clearly, they're neurodivergent, okay? They're strange. They represent masking. They don't feel like they fit in, and they literally do not. Being human in Deltarune is an allegory for anything you want. Race, sexuality, gender, or mental health issue, it fits them all. It's a perfect way to paint Chris to appeal to those who don't fit in. And they do. Between being an odd, quiet kid and being non-binary, Chris is the fictional character I feel most connected to in fiction. By the way, if anyone cares. Prior to this, it was Edward Elric, because we like science, and we both have tempers the size of our height, and I think he's funny, but obviously Crispy Kreme donuts. Chris is better at doing this, okay? They remind me of a younger, stranger me. Susie follows the same pattern as Chris does for viewers on a deeper, more direct level. She's a troubled kid. Her character is spoken to various creators and probably countless more silent fans. She doesn't necessarily need to have something like ADHD or autism or even the behavioral issues or social and communication disabilities people theorize that she has to just speak to neurodivergent people and make that connection. Especially to the ones who felt like growing up, no adults gave them a fair chance. Whether they're the ADHD kids who were labeled as problematic or the neurotypicals that adults treated unfairly, Susie speaks to the audience and has fans relating. And her experiences are seen and felt heavily in the neurodivergent community. That's the point. That's the main ticket here. Some characters straight up fit headcanons of being neurodivergent, and some just speak so influentially to the neurodivergent community, it doesn't matter what they have or what they are. Canon or fanonly. Headcanons are just fun. Birdly is another character commonly given a neurodivergent headcanon by the fandom, because of his implied hyperfixations on things like gaming, and how often he just misses social cues. He's another character that appeals to neurodivergent audiences. And by far the best example of neurodivergence in Deltarune currently, maybe second to Chris, is Tenna and his heavily implied BPD. Attachment and communication issues at the least if you don't believe the BPD headcanon. Also, I would love to hear your guys' headcanons for some Deltarune characters in the comments and have an open discussion on what we think. Maybe I could make a video on just Deltarune or neurodivergent or queer headcanons, if we get enough comments. Seeing mental health issues of any sorts represented in media is incredible as is and vastly impactful. When neurodivergent kids, teens, or adults see characters that either represent them or are easily and deeply relatable, it positively impacts them and their well-being. Especially with how a lot of neurodivergent people function, it can be, what is the positive version of devastating? Constructive to their lives. I'll be the first to admit. Okay, so story time. When I was first entering high school during freshly post-COVID, really bad mental health due to a medication I was on, some days what got me out of bed, eating, and going to school was telling myself that my favorite fictional characters would want this for me and they would be proud. Yeah, I know, it's cringe. I was on Accutane and 14 years old, and I just went through a global lockdown. Alright, chill. The point is, all in all, having representation of anyone in general is good and important. I think it sadly gets overlooked, and people fail to understand the why behind diversity sometimes. To wrap things up, I think the entire community of Undertale and Deltarune have been nothing but supportive and kind to me. Yes, there's the weird sides of the fandom that would low-key be a fun video to make, because there is a lot from the 2010s. But we're focusing on the average fan who just appreciates something they love. Being neurodivergent, whether it's autism or schizophrenia or Tourette's or what have you, has the potential to land you in a fan base or community filled with people who match your interests and energy and understand you. Undertale and Deltarune fostered these connections as well as creativity in thousands, neurodivergent or not. I hope you all leave this video thinking a bit more deeply about neurodivergent minds and how, as niche as it is, games like Undertale and Deltarune can be so culturally impactful to our community. Have a wonderful whatever time of day, whatever day of the week, and please consider subscribing if you enjoyed.